ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are in the 6th Adhyaya. We completed the 22nd shloka in the last class. That is, Yam labdhva cha param labham manyatena adhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena guruna api vichalyate. That shloka we completed. So we are describing the stage of mind of a sannyasi who has attained a particular level in that sadhana. In his sadhana, he has attained almost the highest level. At that level, what is his mind? Yatra uparamate, where his mind stands tranquil, and then yatra sukham atyantikam dukham, where he attains that sort of happiness. Yam labdhva cha param labham, after attaining which he does not think that anything else is greater than that. All those things they were told in 20th, 21st and 22nd. And in fact, I was telling you, right from 20th shloka to 23rd shloka, which we are going to read, it forms one sentence. Where the mind is like that, where the mind is like that, that you know that is yoga. So this shloka is going to say, that state of mind which has been described in the earlier 3 shlokas, that is to be taken as yoga. So that is, there is a small avatarika. Yatro paramate ityad arabhya.
Yatro paramate ityad
ityadi arabhya. Yavadbhihi visheshanaihi. Vishishtaha atma. Atmavastha vishesho yoga uktaha. So starting with that shloka, yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya, that is the 20th shloka. That is where the mind, by constant practice of this yoga, where it remains uparamate, with withdraws from all these sense objects. So starting from that shloka, ityadi arabhya, yavadbhihi visheshanaihi, by so many visheshanais, by so many adjectives, he gave so much of description about what type of happiness it is and how he withdraws from all those things, and then what type of happiness he attains by that uparati. So he has given so many examples. Yavadbhihi visheshanaihi vishishtaha atmavastha visheshaha. It is an atmavastha vishesha. It is a state of mind. Atma avastha, atmanaha avastha. Avastha is a state of mind. Atma avastha means atmanaha avastha. That is a state of mind of a sadhaka at the highest level that has been described. And that you now know that sort of happiness is called yoga. That can be designated, that can be called yoga. That is what the present shloka is about to say. Let us read the shloka. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam.
Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam.
Yoga sangnitam. Sa nischayena yoktavyo. Yogo nirvinna chetasa. So in fact, usually we read the first line by splitting into 2, but here we have not split, because usually what we do is Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam, that's how we read. But dukkha sanyoga viyogam is one phrase. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam vidyat. So tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam. So the anvaya in this shloka, the anvaya is like this. Tam means tam dukkha sanyoga viyogam. The dukkha sanyoga viyoga is one word which is used here. What is a samyoga? Sanyoga is union, association, contact. Dukkha sanyoga is dukkhena saha samyoga. That is contact with sorrow, unity with sorrow, union with sorrow, association with sorrow, associated with sorrow. So that is dukkha sanyoga. Dukkha sanyogat viyoga. Dukkha sanyogena viyoga means separation from that contact from sorrow. What does it mean? That is happiness only. Separation from contact from sorrow. A person is having contact with sorrow. You separate him from that contact from sorrow. You drag him out of that sorrow. He is sticking on to something called sorrow. Suppose you find some object, that object, let us say it is sorrow. He is embracing that sorrow. You pull him out of that sorrow. So that dukkha sanyoga, viyoga has happened. So which means he is in a state of happiness. So that state of happiness where he has abandoned all sorrow, where he has rejected all sorrow, sorrow is because of wrong perception only. We have been seeing that dukkham. What is the reason for dukkham? Dukkham nama prajñāparādha eva. I have been telling. That is one famous line from Akhandananda Maharaj Ji. So dukkham nama prajñāparādha eva. Your own wrong understanding is the cause for dukkha. Your own wrong understanding about what is right and what is wrong, what is real and what is unreal, what is permanent and what is ephemeral. So our own understanding about things is something which is causing us dukkha. We feel that some object is giving us some happiness, whereas in reality it is giving us some misery. So when you have withdrawn yourself from that, that is dukkha sanyoga viyoga. Then when you are clinging to that, that is dukkha sanyoga. When you are coming out from that, dukkha sanyoga viyoga. You followed that thing? That is disconnection from unity with sorrow. Disconnection of unity with sorrow. That is the thing. So that is, you are getting separated or dragged out of dukkha. So that is the meaning. And that state of mind, tam dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam vidyat. So that is the connection. Yoga sangnitam. So that should be designated. That should be called yoga sangnam bhajati. Yoga, it can be called yoga. Sangnam is a designation, a name. Yoga sangnitam means that which is designated as yoga. That which can be called as yoga. Then yoga sangnitam vidyat. Vidyat means let it be known. That is a vidhiling. That is vidyat. Let it be known. May it be known. That sort of separation from association with sorrow, separation from contact with sorrow, or severance say of contact with sorrow, say that you call it yoga. Is the first line clear? Tam dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam vidyat. Then sa yogaha. Sa, the next line says sa nischayena yoktavyaha. Sa means sa yogaha, because yoga is in Pumlinga. Sa yogaha. That particular yoga, nischayena yoktavyaha. Nischayena, with a lot of conviction, with a lot of shraddha. It is not some type of ego. Nishchaya usually means determination. I have to achieve this, I will do this. Not a question of ego. Here it is not the question of ego is not predominant here. Here what is predominant is shraddha. That is, say the faith, not exactly faith. Faith again is a wrong word. Faith means belief. It is a belief only. It is a blind belief. It can also be a blind belief. It is not a question of blind belief. It is a firm conviction that what he has learnt in that Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is something which is real, and then that is really leading me to a proper stage. So what all we have seen hitherto is Shravana and Manana. In this particular Adhyaya, Lord Krishna is dragging you into Nididhyasana. Lord Krishna is forcing you to change, to say bring about some internal transformation in us. Whoever reads this chapter, say it is bound, he is bound to get some internal say transformation. So that is what he is aimed at in this chapter, because it is something to do with abhyasa. It is something to do with practice. Suppose you have read 100 books about say some physical art, something like swimming or some dance or something like that. You may read 100 books about dance, but unless you dance really, or unless you swim, you will not know how to swim. So like that, you have read so much about what is Tvam Padartha and what is Tat Padartha. Tat Padartha, of course, we are going to see, and a little bit of some glimpse of that has also been shown in in the earlier chapters. But still, we have not practiced. What exactly is this abhyasa? What is this practice? So here we are shown what exactly is the Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha. The coming slokas, they are going to describe all these things. So this sloka, this particular Adhyaya is basically meant to change somebody internally. So that is what we have to see. So sa nischayena, with that conviction that there is something in that is clarity in mananam, with all that clarity of understanding and with shraddha, yoktavyaha means it has to be pursued. That yoga has to be pursued. Then sa nischayena yoga, sa yoktavyo yoga, sa is connected to this yoga. That particular yoga, anirvinna chetasa, nirveda. What is nirveda? Nirveda means some sort of dejection, demoralization, say some sort of what is this lack of say enthusiasm. So that is Nirveda. Nirveda is say a sort of dejection, despair, let us say dejection, despair, lack of enthusiasm, demoralization. That sort of stage is Nirveda. Nirvinna is a mind which is in that state is called Nirvinna Cheta. Nirvinna Chetaha means a person whose mind is in that state. Nirvinna Chetaha means the person whose mind is in a state of dejection, a sort of disappointed state, a despair, a state of despair. Why despair? Why despair means in this spiritual path, results may not be so quick. Results will be very, very slow. And you sit for say Dhyanam and your mind will be running here and there. So it will be with great difficulty you have to do this Dhyanam. And then with so much of, after a long time also, sometimes you may not be able to get, but then you may get demoralized. In such a case, you will get demoralized, dispirited, let us say. So all that dispiritedness has to be driven away, and then with some enthusiasm, with a great sense of morale, what we say morale, high morale we say. So that demoralized state you have to reject, and then you have to be in a high state of morale. Yes, I will definitely do this. I will definitely achieve my dhyanam. I will definitely achieve this ekagrata. I will definitely do dhyanam. So with that anirvinna chetasa, you have to do this, you have to pursue this yoga. So that is the meaning of this shloka. Let us read the bhashyam. Tam vidyat vijaniyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam दुःखैः संयोगः दुःखसंयोगः तेन वियोगः दुःखसंयोगवियोगः तं दुःखसंयोगवियोगं योग इत्येव संज्ञितं विपरीतलक्षणेन विद्यात् तं विद्यात्. That should be known as what? Yoga Sangnitam. Usually what is yoga? Yoga means unite, to yoke two things is yoga, isn't it? But here what are you seeing? You are seeing viyoga. You are seeing separation, isn't it? Separation from what? Dukkha Sanyoga. Separation from Dukkha Sanyoga. So Dukkha Sanyogat Viyoga or Athava Dukkha Sanyogena Viyoga. So Viyoga from that Dukkha Sanyoga. So usually yoga actually means union, isn't it? But here you are calling a viyoga a yoga. Why? It is called a viparita lakshana, that is giving a definition from the other direction, giving a definition from the opposite side. That is viparita lakshana. Lakshana means a definition. Viparita lakshana means a sort of converse definition from the other side. You are coming from the wrong route to the same place. So that is the way. That is it. Dukkha sanyoga viyoga. You understood this thing? Viyoga, yoga actually means union, but you are calling a viyoga as yoga. That is it is a way of saying. It is a way of saying in the sense that it is a definition from the other side. Then tam vidyat vijaniyat. Vijaniyat means it should be known. Dukkha sanyogaha, dukkaihi samyogaha, dukkha sanyogaha. I explained this. Dukkaihi samyogaha means association with lot many sorrows. Lot many sorrows means objects. Sense objects only are sorrows. Our own sense objects, with pursuing all these sense objects eternally, endlessly, that is sorrow. And then tena viyogaha. From that viyoga. Viyoga means separation, severance, disconnection. That is dukkha sanyoga viyogaha. Tam dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga ityeva sangnitam. So you are calling that viyoga as yoga. So that is, there is no confusion in this. That particular separation from association with sorrow is called yoga. Then ityeva sangnitam viparita lakshanaya. Viparita lakshanaya means, as I said, converse definition from the other reverse side. Then viparita lakshanena tam vidyat. Then next line, vijaniyat ityarthaha. So though it is a viyoga, it is called yoga. Then yoga phalam upasamhrutya. Punaha anvarambhena. Yogasya kartavyata uchyate. Nishchaya anirvedayoho. Yoga sadhanatva vidhanartham. So yoga phalam upasamhrutya. He has told you about this yoga phala. What is that yoga phala? It was told in 21st shloka and 22nd shloka. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhigrahyam atindriyam. That atyantika sukham, that eternal bliss, and then that which is beyond the senses, and that which can be perceived, that which can be known only by the mind. So that sort of thing, and then he is in that state of bliss, and then in that state of bliss, sthitaha tattvataha na chalati. He doesn't move from that particular state. So he has explained that yoga phala. Having explained yoga phala, again he is starting sanishchayena yoktavyaha and all that, and again in the coming shlokas also he is again going to explain why. So Shankara, so we feel that there is some little bit of repetition by Lord Krishna. Even Shankaracharya is saying the same thing. He is yoga phalam upasamhrutya, having concluded, say that yoga phala, having told conclusively about what is that yoga phala, Lord Krishna is again starting the same thing afresh. Punaha anvarambhena. Anvarambha is starting afresh. Anu plus arambha. Anvarambha. Anu means after. Arambha is beginning. Anvarambha is again starting something afresh. Anvarambhena. Yogasya kartavyata uchyate. Why means because this is something which is such a difficult thing. It has to be repeated 100 times. So that is what commentator this Anandagiri writes. Say that is because the prakarantarena yogasya kartavyata. Because this is something which is so difficult. It has to be told again and again to a practitioner. Otherwise this fellow will, if you listen once, you will listen in 1 year and it will go away in another year. So it has to stick in the mind. It has to get lodged in the mind. So that is why he is repeating. So that is the meaning. Yogasya kartavyata uchyate nishchaya anirvedayoho yoga sadhanatva vidhanartham. So these two things again are being told. Nishchaya is one, anirveda is one thing. Nishchaya, as I said, is that is a conviction. That is with a lot of clarity of mind about what you have learnt in that Shravana and Manana. With all that clarity, and then with a firm conviction that yes, this is what is correct and this is what I have to pursue. So that is that say nishchaya. Then anirveda. Anirveda, I said, that is a high sense of morale. That no question of having any type of dejection, no question of having any type of disappointment or despair in the process. So even if you fail for 10 times, like Muhammad Ghazani, you have to pursue this thing. Ghazani or Gori, that Gori I think. Okay. Say nishchaya nirvedayoho yoga sadhanatva vidhanartham. That is, these two things are yoga sadhana, yoga sadhane, sadhanam, sadhane, sadhanani. That is yoga. These two things are yoga sadhane. That is, these two things are tools for yoga, or very, very necessary say tools for yoga. Then sa yathokta phalo yogaha.
Sa yathokta phalo yogaha.
Nishchayena adhyavasayena.
Nishchayena adhyavasayena.
Yoktavyaha. Anirvinna chetasa.
Anirvinna chetasa.
Na nirvinnam anirvinnam.
Na nirvinnam anirvinnam.
Kim tat. Chetaha. Tena nirvedarahitena chetasa.
Tena nirvedarahitena chetasa.
Chittena ityarthaha. Okay. Then sa yathokta phalaha yogaha. That yoga which is said to be giving that particular phalam. Yathokta phalo yogaha. That yoga which is said to be, or which has been described to give that particular phalam. So that yoga nishchayena adhyavasayena. Adhyavasaya is again nishchaya only. As an adhyavasayatmika buddhihi, we know. Buddhi is defined as adhyavasayatmika buddhihi. That is something which clarity, with a lot of clarity, it says yes, this is this and this is not something else. I say that yeah, this is a particular thing and not something else. So that is adhyavasaya. So because of this Shravana and Manana, he is very firm, he is very clear in his mind that this is something which has to be pursued. Adhyavasayena yoktavyaha, that has to be pursued. Abhyasaniyaha, that has to be pursued. Then, okay. Then what? Anirvinna chetasa. Na nirvinnam anirvinnam. Nirveda. Where that nirveda is not there, where that glani or despair is not there. Anirvinnam. Kim tat. What is that? Chetaha. That mind is something which is anirvinna. tena nirvedarahitena chetasa chittena ityartha. With that mind, with that frame of mind, your frame of mind in this yoga sadhana should be, you should have the clarity and determination. Number two, you should never get despair. You should pursue the thing with a high sense of morale. So that is the point here. Then next, kincha, next shloka, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvana sheshatah manasaivendriyagramam viniyamya samantatah. So again, Lord Krishna is said to some extent repeating certain things which he has told, because this is something which has to be told again and again. That is it. So this shloka, let us see. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman. Kamans tyaktva. The line is Sankalpa prabhavan kamans tyaktva. Kaman plus tyaktva becomes kamans tyaktva. That sakara comes in sandhi. So when we split it, kaman tyaktva it becomes. Kaman, if it is a sandhi, kamans tyaktva. So sankalpa prabhavan kaman. So what is this kama? Kama is desire. Kama means desire. Desire to get something. How is it originates? How does it originate? How does it originate? Because somebody says, yes, in the market such and such a thing is available, it is really good, and then you have to really get it. Somebody describes to you, you have not seen, but then somebody says, oh, such and such a thing has come in the market, or so and so film has come, in that film so and so fellow has acted so well. So there is a sort of value attached to that. There is a type of hype attached to that. Some sort of advertisement has been made about that. So then in your mind, that say feeling comes. So, oh, this is something great. So you attach some feeling of greatness, some feeling of importance, some feeling that, oh, it is something really to be acquired. So that is something attaching some sort of high value to something. In Sanskrit they call it Shobhanadhyasa. In Madhusudana Saraswati, I keep referring to him. He has given a beautiful line called Shobhanadhyasa. Shobhanadhyasaha Dushteshvapi Vishayeshu Ashobhanatva Adarshanat. That is, even though that is something which is very stupid, you are attaching some high value to that. A film may be very stupid, but some fellow who writes a review, he praises it to the skies. Or an object, some soap may be very stupid, but then the soap advertiser, he gives such a big hype about that. Or some other thing, maybe some very stupid thing. So you are attaching some value to that. That is Shobhana Adhyasa. Shobhana means a sense of value. Shobhana means something which is good. We know the word Shobhanam, it is there in Telugu also. Shobhanam is something which is good. Shobha is something which is desirable, something which is really say very precious, let us say. So that is what is Shobhanam. So Shobhana Adhyasa. Adhyasa is superimposition of a high value to a particular thing. So that is called Shobhana Adhyasa, or Mahatva Buddhi also it is called. So thinking that something it is great. That is the meaning of Sankalpa. So Madhusudana Saraswati gives that meaning, Sankalpa. What is the meaning of Sankalpa? Sam plus Kalpa. Sam is an Upasarga. Sam means well. Kalpana means visualization. You are visualizing a high thing. You are giving such a great hype. Something like an ad agency. The mind attaches a lot of importance to, mind works as an ad agency, let us say. And then it attaches a lot of importance to a particular thing. And then that is the Sankalpa. And from that Sankalpa, the desire is born. So desire is born out of Sankalpa only. You follow this? So Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. This is in plural. Kaman is in plural. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvan. Having abandoned all those things. Because this Sankalpa itself is wrong. So you have to hit that Sankalpa. So when somebody gives a hype about that particular thing in the supermarket or some other place, so you have to really see what is really, you have to see the truth about it. You should not be carried away by the advertisement and propaganda. You have to see the truth. So Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvan. All these kamas, that is desires, you have to abandon them. Because how can you do that? By only analyzing that sankalpa. Is this sankalpa correct? So that is what we have to see. So that is why when we start puja also, there is what is called a sankalpa. So in puja there can be a sankalpa. In Sandhya Vandana there is a sankalpa. In Sandhya Vandana what is the sankalpa? Parameshwara Prityartham. We say Parameshwara Prityartham Pratas Sandhyam Upase. In order to obey the order of Lord. Parameshwara Preeti means not that he is going to be happy. By following the order of the Lord, naturally, Parameshwara Anugraha will be there on us. So that is the point. So we are just obeying the order of the Lord. We are whatever karma we do, we are dedicating to Him. So that is the frame of mind of a person doing Sandhya Vandana. Puja also sankalpa. Sankalpa, okay, you desire some small thing to you only. But then dharma, artha, kama. When you say the word dharma, it implies the whole society. When you say the word dharma, you are not only including you are belonging to a wide order. For the whole social order is implied there. So there the sankalpa is okay. But then sankalpa with regard to external objects, this is desires, which are going to result as, take shape as desires. So those things have to be properly analyzed and abandoned. Then manasaiva indriyagramam viniyamya. Then indriyagramam. What is a gramam? Gramam is gaon, village. Gramam actually means gaon, village. But here indriyagramam, samuha. Grama actually means samuha. Indriyagramam is this assemblage of all these indriyas. Then this has to be viniyamya. This has to be properly kept under control. How? By manasa. Manasa eva. Manasaiva is manasa eva indriyagramam viniyamya. That is the split of these words. Manasa eva. By the mind itself, by the mind only, this thing has to be controlled. Because we have seen we are going to see in the Kathopanishad also, that mind, all these senses are like the horses. Indriyani, hayanahu, all these things are like horses. They drag you here and there. They drag you in various directions. And then it is the mind, manah pragrahamevacha. Mind is something like the rain. With that rain you have to rein in. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Buddhi is something which is like the charioteer. Buddhi is that discrimination, that deciding mind. That deciding mind, it has to see that the mind reigns in all those things. So manah pragrahamevacha buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. So buddhi is the sarathi. So these things have to be controlled by the mind only. Then samantataha. Samantataha means from all directions. So the mind, these things, these indriyas are running in all directions. They have to be controlled. So that is what it says. Then let us read the Bhashyam. Kincha sankalpa prabhavan sankalpaha prabhavaha yesham kamanam te sankalpa prabhavaha kamaha. So he is giving the what is this vigraha vakyam for the samasa. Sankalpa prabhavaha is a samasa. So what is the vigraha vakyam? Sankalpa, I am telling this thing only because you are also a student of Sanskrit. You are also seeing all these Sanskrit classes. So I am telling this thing. Sankalpa prabhavaha, sankalpaha prabhavaha yesham kamanam te sankalpa prabhavaha. Sankalpaha prabhavaha. Prabhava means origin. Sankalpa is the origin for all these. Yesham te. Those for which, literally it means those for which sankalpa is the origin. They are called sankalpa prabhavaha. Prabhava means origin. Sankalpaha prabhavaha kamaha. Te sankalpa prabhavaha kamaha. Tan tyaktva. Tan styaktva. Parityajya. Sarvan asheshataha. Nirlepena. So he says, Kaman styaktva. Tan styaktva. Tan plus tyaktva becomes tan styaktva, having abandoned. That is, tyaktva means parityajya. Sarvan, all these kaman. Asheshataha, without leaving anything, without leaving a small iota of it. Shesham is remainder. Asheshana means altogether, completely. Nirlepena. Lepa means Something is just sticking to something. Suppose there is some not even a trace of it. Nirlepena actually means not even a trace of it. All these these desires, they have to be eradicated, not even leaving a trace. Nirlepena. Lepanam actually means anointing something. Lepanam actually means anointing something. Even that lepanam should not be there. Suppose the desire is sitting here, and then even if you remove the desire, some sort of something is sticking. Some smell at least is there. Even that smell has to be driven out. So you have to put a nice detergent and then drive them away. So that is the meaning. Nirlepena. Even that lepanam should not be there. Kincha manasa eva viveka yuktena indriya gramam indriya samudayam viniyamya niyamanam krutva samantatah samantat. So kincha, moreover, manasa eva, by the mind only. And what type of mind? Viveka yuktena manasa. Viveka yuktena, that is that which is having that viveka. Viveka is that sense of discrimination. Discrimination is the ability to see what is right and what is wrong. Viveka yuktena indriya gramam indriya samudayam, that is the assemblage of all these indriyas. Viniyamya, that is properly niyamanam krutva. Then samantatah samantat, from all directions. Samantat means from all directions it has to be controlled. Then next shloka. There is no avatarika. Let us read this shloka. Shanai-shanai-ruparamet buddhya dhruti-gruhitaya atma-samstham manah krutva nakinchidapi chintayet. Okay, shanaihi uparamet. Let us see this shloka. Shanaihi uparamet. Shanaihi means slowly and slowly. Shanaihi. In fact, the Lord Shani, we also do Shani Puja. Shani is that Saturn, what we call it, and that a particular graha, as we call it, that particular graha is supposed to slow down everything. Shanaihi actually means to slow down. Shani is not something which is negative. Shani, people say, Arey, Shani is something which is negative. Shani should not be taken as a negative thing. At some point of time, things slow down. That slowing down is called Shani. Shanaihi. He is not a negative person, but he is actually Shani also. What is this? In this whole consciousness, Shani is again a small manifestation, isn't it? So we have to take it in that way. So Shani, we should not be afraid of it, nor should some people are afraid to take the name also. So instead of saying Shanivasara, we say Sthiravasara. So we need not be so scared, because Shani only means slowing down. Something like a recession. So, Shanaihi, that is by slowly and slowly. It is not something which can be done in a very, say all of a sudden it cannot be done. Maybe for some great people who have done, say with some Purva Janma Sukritam, or who have such a great clarity of mind, it may suddenly happen too, but not for all people. So for all other sadhakas, they have to go about in a slow manner. Because when one fine morning you can't give up all things. Slowly and slowly you have to give up. Slowly and slowly, today you give up watching TV. Tomorrow you give up watching something else. Next day you stop going to say some club or some such place. So things like that. Shanaihi uparamet. Uparama is withdrawing. Uparamet. Buddhya dhruti gruhitaya. Dhruti means dhairya. Dhairyam, courage. The buddhi should have that courage. Buddhi should have the determination. Dhruti actually is also determination. Dhruti gruhitaya. Dhrutya gruhitaya. That is, that buddhi is having that firm conviction. So with that conviction, you are withdrawing from all those things. Then, atma samstham manaha krutva. Atma samstham manaha krutva. Manaha, this mind has to be kept in atma. This word again has been very beautifully commented by say both Nilakantha and also Madhusudana. What they say is Atma. What exactly is Atma? Atma is pure consciousness only. Manaha is, what is Manaha? What is the difference between Atma and Manas? Manas is a vritti pravaha. So mind looks at an object. So consciousness takes the shape of this object. So this is when consciousness, when there is a movement in consciousness, when there is some disturbance in consciousness, that becomes mind. Mind is something which cognizes. Mind, so you think of a wave. Think of a wave in a lake. So there is a big wind and then some wave is formed. So wave is a manifestation within that water. So the wave gets an identity at that time. And then when the say wave subsides, what is that wave? What does it become? It becomes water only. Wave becomes lake only. So similarly, mind is something which is a movement in that consciousness. Mind actually is some sort of disturbance, some sort of movement in that consciousness. And when it stops moving, it is in that state of pure consciousness only. So like that, mind Atma Samstham Manah Krutva means, this Madhusudana Saraswati says, Vritti Shunyam Atmakara Matra Vishishtam Krutva, he says. I was explaining, in fact, Madhusudana Saraswati's Vyakhya, if we start reading, it will take 2 years or 3 years. So I am just picking up a couple of points from Nilakantha or Madhusudana. As I said, those interested may read that Madhusudana's Vyakhya, which is also available in English. So he says, Vritti Shunyam Krutva. Atma Samstham means mind is full of so many vrittis. Vritti, I told you, what is vritti? Vritti is not occupation. In Telugu, we use that word to refer to occupation. Vritti means vartate anaya iti vrittihi. I see an object, my mind is with this, isn't it? Anaya vartate. Pen saha mama manaha vartate. So then my mind is in this vritti. Pen akara vritti, let us say. So ghatakara vritti, when we say ghatakara vritti, in English let us say pennakara vritti. So this mind is taking that particular shape. So whatever you see, the mind is taking that shape. So mind is actually a disturbance in that consciousness, a modification in that consciousness. When you stop that modification, then it becomes consciousness only. It remains as pure consciousness. So vritti shunyam. So then again, where are we going to? We are again referring to what is Patanjali saying, that is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That is nirodha, that is say stopping all these vrittis. By constant practice, of course. For that one sentence only, the whole book has started. The very first sutra of Patanjali is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Then he says, yes, now I am going to say what the tradition has been telling about yoga. He does not say, I am saying something afresh. Our tradition, in our tradition, all these rishis, they have the habit of saying, I am not saying anything new. This is there going as per the tradition, and then I am actually repeating the tradition. So that is why he says yoga anushasanam. He doesn't say shasanam. Anushasanam. Anu means after. Anushasanam. So atha yoga anushasanam. Then the very second thing is, what is this sutra is, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Then yoga is, that is stopping of all these chitta vrittis. Then what happens? The third sutra is tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam means the drashta means the seer. This drishyam druk, that thing appears in Patanjali too. So this drashta swarupe avasthanam. When this fellow stops this vritti, all these vrittis are rejected, then where is he? He is in the state of pure consciousness. When all these vrittis have gone, tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. That is, he remains in his own shape, in his own self, not shape, in his own real self. And what is that real self? Real self is that pure consciousness, that pure awareness. That is this so-called ego-less awareness, let us say. This so-called ahankara-less awareness. So this the body-mind consciousness, the body consciousness or BMI consciousness, body-mind intellect consciousness, that disappears, and then he is remaining as consciousness. The body consciousness goes and then he remains as consciousness. So that is what is called drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. The fourth, what is this sutra says, vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. In all other cases, vritti sarupyam. That is, I see something and my mind takes the shape of this cell phone. then my mind takes the shape of this pen. Vritti sarupyam. This mind modifies into the shape of whatever object it sees. Vritti sarupyam. Sarupyam is it taking the shape of the same thing which is seen or perceived. So vritti sarupyam. Not only seeing, it applies to other senses also. I touch a thing, I smell a thing. So like that. So this is vritti sarupyam. And the whole of Yoga Sutra, this is again an elaboration of all the commentary. They say how to achieve this Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The very second say sutra which says Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The rest of the whole book of Patanjali Yoga Sutra is only an elaboration or a commentary on how you are going to achieve that state. So here Atma Samstham Manah Krutva means that is you are stopping that movement, say mental modification called Chitta Vritti. Chitta Vritti is also in English it is translated as mental modification or a thought, let us say, to be in very very simple words, it is a thought which arises in the mind. So it is a mental modification. All those things stop. If there is a Vritti, it becomes Manas. If there is no Vritti, it is consciousness. It is as simple as that. If there is a Chitta Vritti, it becomes mind, it becomes a wave. If there is no Chitta Vritti, that is the wave is not there, it is only water. So it is like that. The Atma Samstham Manah Krutva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. So you are not supposed to think of anything. That is, all this Chintanam of external objects has gone. So that is the thing. Let us read the Bhashyam. Shanai Shanaihi
Shanaihi
Na Sahasa Uparamet Uparatim Kuryat. So he is also very emphatically saying Na Sahasa. Sahasa means all of a sudden. All of a sudden you are not supposed to do it. Shanaihi Na Sahasa Uparamet Uparatim Kuryat. It should be a slow process. Otherwise, if you suddenly give up, suddenly you will again resume all things. So we have to slowly give up one by one, so that the mind again it realizes the usefulness. Suppose you give up something today, then you realize you get more, you become more happy by giving up something. So once you feel that you are happy by giving up something, then you will also give up the next thing, and you will feel more happy by giving up the next thing also. Then like that you slowly give up everything, and then you are in your own self, you are happy. You are getting more and more happiness by rejecting unnecessary things. So like that. Sahasa, na sahasa, uparamed, uparatim kuryat. Kaya means by what? Buddhya. What type of buddhi? Kim vishishtaya? Kim vishishtaya means what type of? What is the adjective? What is the visheshana? Kim vishishtaya means some visheshanam is there. When the visheshanam is there, it is called visishtam. So kim vishishtaya means what type of buddhi? Then dhruti gruhitaya. Dhrutya dhairyena gruhitaya. Dhairyena yuktaya ityarthaha. So for this thing, dhairyam is required. Dhairyam is courage. You should have the courage to give up a thing. That is again a very important point, because we are afraid. We are afraid to give up things. So what Lord Krishna says is, dhruti gruhitaya, you should have the courage to give up a thing. Once you give up a thing, you will enjoy, you will feel that happiness, and slowly by giving up more and more things, you will realize what is that happiness. Dhairyena gruhitaya, dhairyena yuktaya. That is mind which is having that courage to give up things. Then Atmani samsthitam. Atmaiva sarvam. Na tato anyat kinchidasti. Ityevam Atma samstham manah krutva na kinchidapi chintayet yesha yogasya paramo avadhihi. Avadhihi. Paramaha avadhihi. Paramo avadhihi. Okay. Atmani samsthitam. Atmaiva sarvam. Na tato anyat. Na tataha anyat kinchidasti ityevam atma samstham. So as I was telling you, atmani samsthitam means atmaiva sarvam. Whatever is there, it is nothing but only consciousness. Tataha anyaha na kinchidasti. I was telling that Madhusudana Saraswati's line, atmakara matra visishtam. So the mind has to get that brahmakara vritti or atmakara vritti. So after all, this Brahman also has to be understood by a vritti only. This vritti is one thing which we have to see. In order to know a thing, that vritti is there. Then Brahma, how is that? How will it apply to Brahma? Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, all these things are chitta vrittis only. What is Nididhyasana? Nididhyasana is a constant flow in a particular direction. That is the flow of all these chitta vritti. Chitta vritti pravaha. It is a stream of consciousness, a stream of thoughts in a particular direction. Not discordant thoughts, but similar thoughts in a particular direction. So then again, what is that ultimate result? Brahmakara vritti. You attain that Brahmakara vritti, and after that, when you are settled in that, that vritti also drops away, and then that the sadhaka remains in that state of pure consciousness, pure awareness. So that is it. Then Atmakara matra visishtam. Then that Atmakara only remains. Then this Ahankara, how it has to be given up. Madhusudana gives he gives a long explanation. I will just tell one point. Ahankara, he says, it is of two types. Ahankara means this I feeling is of two types. One, he says, is Ahankara dvividha vishesha rupaha samanya rupascheti. That is Vishesha Ahankara and Samanya Ahankara. Vishesha Ahankara is called Vyashti Ahankara, that is individual Ahankara. That is, I am so and so. I am so and so officer. I am son of so and so. My village is so and so. My religion is so and so. I belong to this particular caste. So you have got a personal, like some people have visiting cards. The visiting card runs into 2-3 pages. So many things. He is president of so and so thing, secretary of so and so thing. All these things are aham. Definitions of this aham. That is Vyashti Ahankara. That is individual Ahankara. Then the other Ahankara is I am. This I am is something which is common to everybody. I exist. This is something which is common to everybody. Even a man who is not having so much of Vyashti Ahankara, but still every person feels, yes, I am. So even this Vyashti Ahankara and also the Samashti Ahankara, that is Samanya Ahankara, both things have to be relinquished, let us say. They have to be obliterated, they have to be relinquished. How it has to be done? He explains the process which is told in that, Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad again tells how it has to be done. How, Yached Vang Manasi Prajnaha. That is sense organs. You have to do this pravilapa. You have to dissolve or you have to resolve them in the mind. That is withdrawing the sense organs. Then mind has to be withdrawn in that, Ahankara. The Ahankara itself has to be withdrawn in that, Mahat. Mahat means that supreme thing. That is, this I is nothing but that supreme, Hiranyagarbha. This I should be, how to dissolve this I into that Mahat. This I has to be dissolved by feeling, by constantly reminding that this particular I is nothing but Hiranyagarbha Tattva. So like this, slowly from the senses you have to come back and then realize that you are nothing but the pure consciousness. So that is the process which is described in Kathopanishad. So that he is explaining all that. So you can refer to that explanation. So Atmaiva Sarvam na tataha anyadasti iti ityevam Atma Samstham Manaha. So in that state of consciousness, the mind has to be there. Na kinchidapi chintayet. And one should not think of anything else. Yesha yogasya paramaha avadhihi. This is the supreme level. Avadhi means that is a level. Avadhi is something like a water level. That is the highest level of or highest stage of this yoga. So that is the this shloka. Then tatra evam atmasamstham manaha kartum pravruttaha. Evam atmasamstham pravruttaha yogi. So one who is atmasamstham kartum pravruttaha. So one who is desiring to put his mind in that particular stage or take it to that stage. One who is endeavoring to elevate his mind to that particular stage. What is he supposed to do? Tatra evam atmasamstham kartum pravruttaha means one who is trying to achieve it, one who is trying to elevate his mind to that level. Then that man, then let us read the shloka. yato yato nisyarati
yato yato nischarati
manasyanchalamasthiram
manaschanchalamastiram
tatastato niyamyaitat
tatastato niyamyaite
atmanyeva vasham nayet.
atmanyeva vasannayet.
So yato yato nisyarati. So this manaha chanchalam asthiram. So the subject here is manaha. Mind is the subject in this shloka. What type of mind? Manaha chanchalam asthiram. Chanchalam, it is always chalati. Chalati, chalati, that is chanchalam. Asthiram, it is fickle. It is not constant. It is just moving about here and there in all sensory objects. So manaha chanchalam asthiram yato yato nisyarati. As and how it goes out. Nisyarati means it goes out. Nisyarati. Yataha yataha nisyarati means as and when it goes out. As and when the mind goes out. As and how the mind goes out. Then tatastataha. Then and there. Tataha tataha. Then and there. Niyamya etat. Etat niyamya. Etat manaha niyamya. Etat means this. This means mind. This manaha. Niyamya means having controlled, having brought it back. The mind, it tries to go away. You have to slowly bring it back. And then niyamya etat atmani eva vasham nayet. Atmani eva vasham nayet means that is you have to bring it back to Atma. In fact, in the last two shlokas, one more point we have to see. That is, today we started the class with this tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam, isn't it? Sa nishchayena yoktavyaha yogaha anirvinna chetasa. So nishchaya and anirveda, then that is nishchaya is shraddha. So in this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti we know that shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, samadhanam, shraddha. You remember those 6 things? Shama, dama, uparati, samadhanam, uparati, titiksha, samadhanam, shraddha, isn't it? So these 2 things called shraddha and titiksha are told in this 23rd shloka. In fact, this is a point which is noted by Nilakantha in Nilakantha Vyakya. This samadhanam is nishchaya. Then anirvinna means titiksha. That is, you should have that patience. You should have enormous patience in spite of delay, in spite of all this slow process and slow progress in yoga. You should have that titiksha. So this samadhanam, this shraddha and titiksha have been told in this shloka. Then this next shloka, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshataha. That is controlling the mind. Controlling the mind is shama. Shama is told. Then manasaiva indriyagramam viniyamya. This controlling the senses, sense organs. Controlling the sense organs is something which is called dama. Bahyendriya nigraham damaha. Antarindriya nigraham shamaha. Antarindriya nigraham is mind. Bahyendriya nigraham is all these 5 senses. That is dama. So shama and dama are told. Then the next shloka, shanai shanai uparamed buddhya dhruti gruhitaya. That uparama, that is called uparati. Uparati is withdrawal. Then atma samstham manah krutva, that is what is called samadhanam. Samadhanam means samyak adhanam. That is, you have to bring it back to a particular stage of stillness. So these 6 points, what we see in that sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, the second point, the ihamatra phalabhoga viragaha, the third point, that is shama, dama, shamadhi shatka sampat, we say. What is that shamadhi shatkam? The 6, shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, samadhanam, shraddha. These 6 points have been told in these 3 shlokas, that is 23rd, 24th and 25th, which we just read. So that is one point which say Nilakantha Dikshita has noted. Then in this present 26th shloka, yato yato nischarati manasyanchalam asthiram tatastato niyamyetat atmani eva vasham nayet. You have to bring it back to Atma. Atma means that consciousness. This mind is a disturbance in that consciousness. Mind is a manifestation or a vritti in that consciousness. Mind is just something which is like a wave. And then when that wave stops, it is nothing but water. So similarly, when that movement is not there, it is nothing but consciousness. So you have to stop all other movements, all the vrittis, all the mental modifications you have to stop and remain in that state. Mind itself is not consciousness. Mind itself is jada. We know that mind is jada. But then there is what is called upahita chaitanyam and avachinna chaitanyam. That avachinna chaitanyam we are talking about, the mind is in that state of chaitanya. So that is it. Then, is the line clear?
Yes.
Tataha niyamya etat Atmani eva vasham nayet. The splitting of the words is like this. Niyamyetad atmanyeva. Niyamya etat atmani eva vasham nayet. Then let us read the Bhashyam. Yato yato yasmad yasmat nimittat shabdadehe nischarati nirgacchati स्वभाव दोषात् मनः चंचलम अत्यर्थम चलम अतएव अस्थिरम ततस्ततः तस्मात् शब्दादेः निमित्तात् नियम्य तत्तन्निमित्तं याथात्म्य निरूपणेन आभासीकृत्य वैराग्य भावनया च एतन्मनः आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत् आत्मवश्यताम् आपादयेत्. So one long line Shankaracharya has said, let us see this. Yato yataha yasmad nimittat shabdadehe. Then there are so many nimittas. There is nimitta means some cause. Nimitta actually means a cause. So yasmad nimittat for various causes. Cause means an object. You see an external object, that is a cause. That object itself is a cause. Yasmad nimittat shabdadehe. He is also clarifying shabda, etc. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. These are the things which come and impinge on the senses. So the shabdadehe nischarati nirgacchati. Nirgacchati means it goes out. It goes out. Why does it go out? Swabhava doshat. It goes out because of the swabhava dosha. That is the nature of this mind. That is the nature of the mind is to be fickle, to go out and then be outward. That is, indriyas are always outward bound, isn't it? Indriyas, they are always outward bound, and then they also drag the mind. So that is their nature. Swabhava doshat. Then manaha chanchalam atyartham chalam. Chanchalam. Chamchalam, that is the repetition. Chala dhatu, chamchala, that is atyartham chalam. That is too much, its nature is always moving in nature. Atayeva asthiram. Therefore it is asthiram. It is not very firm. Mind is always moving about. Then tatastataha tasmat shabdadeha nimittat. Tatastataha means then and there, from those objects. Your mind sees some object and wants to go there. You have to tatastataha, then and there, from that particular object you have to withdraw. You have to withdraw viniyamya. When you go out and walk on the road, you see something and then you get attracted. From there you have to niyamya. Various things. In fact, if you read books on Dhyana, I recommend one book by Meditation Know-How by Swami Shivananda. Swami Shivananda, Meditation Know-How. So that is one interesting, one very, very useful book. It again tells us various steps in meditation. Shivananda Ashram is there here only. You can get some very good books on meditation. There is another book by Ramakrishna Mission, some Swami Yatishwarananda, I forget his name, that is again on meditation only, Yatishwarananda. So there again he describes how this mind has to be gradually brought under control. Suppose you look at somebody, a good looking woman is there, and you keep ogling at her. So then stop ogling. That has to be practiced. That has to be practiced by you constantly. So you have to start with that. Even that ogling has been mentioned. you just see, when you look at a person, you are not supposed to look into their eyes and then you are not supposed to ogle at them. Ogling, you know the word ogling? So that has to be stopped. That again has to be practiced. So like that, various things. The mind is looking up, going and seeing something else, and then the mind desires that. So all these things, they have to be slowly. Today you practice something small. Then tomorrow you go to the next point. In one day, of course, you may not be able to achieve for 1 week, let us say. For 1 week, you stop doing something which you yourself know. We only know our defects. So we have to identify what are our defects. We have to first of all identify whether we are in this spiritual path at all or not. So if at all we are in this spiritual path, are we in this spiritual path at all, or are we in the path of karma only? Even karma is not bad. Karma is okay. Karma, if it is done in a karma, what is this, say, karma yoga mode, in that karma yoga frame of mind, if you do that, that is excellent. But where are you? Are you in that? Or are you a selfish karmisti? You keep on going to Tirupati, keep on going to all places, and then keep on worshipping God for personal benefits, and if you don't then get that benefit, then you get disillusioned with that God, and then you go to some dargah. So we do, it happens all that, because this happens only because you don't have that maturity. We don't have that maturity, so you distrust your own God and go to some dargah. So these are things which we see. So this is Uparama is something which has to be practiced in a very, very slow way. I think the time is over. We will resume in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.